Lately, you may have caught yourself thinking something strange, something quiet, something difficult to explain. I don't feel like myself anymore. Not in some dramatic way. Not like everything suddenly changed. Just little things. You still go through your days, still answer messages, still laugh sometimes, still do what needs to be done. But something feels different. Like somewhere along the way, life became heavier without fully asking permission. Maybe you sit with people you care about, but part of you feels strangely far away. Maybe music does not feel the way it used to. Maybe even things you once looked forward to feel quieter now. Not bad, not terrible, just flatter somehow. And sometimes you miss a version of yourself you cannot fully explain. The version of you that felt lighter, more connected, more emotionally here. The version of you that laughed more easily, that felt present inside ordinary moments. And maybe lately, you have quietly wondered, what happened to me? Why does everything take more energy now? Why does being around people sometimes feel tiring, even when you love them? Why do small things sometimes feel unexpectedly heavy? And if this feels familiar, I want to tell you something gently. You are not losing yourself, and you are not broken. Sometimes, when people carry stress, pressure, disappointment, or simply too much life for too long, something inside them becomes quieter. Not gone, just tired. Like a part of you quietly stepped back for a while. And maybe right now, more than motivation, more than fixing yourself, more than trying harder, what you actually need is something softer. A moment where nothing is expected of you. A moment where you stop asking yourself to immediately become the old version of you again. Because maybe coming back to yourself does not begin with pressure. Maybe it begins with something quieter. A slower breath. A little less self-judgment. A little more gentleness for the version of you that is simply tired right now. And maybe, just for tonight, you do not need to figure yourself out. Maybe you only need a safe place to rest for a little while. And maybe right now, what feels hardest is not even the tiredness itself. Maybe it is the fear that this version of you has become permanent. The quiet worry that says, what if this is just who I am now? What if the lighter version of me never really comes back? And if that fear has been quietly living inside you lately, I want you to hear this gently. Feeling disconnected from yourself does not mean you have lost yourself. Sometimes, people do not disappear from themselves. Sometimes they simply become emotionally overwhelmed for longer than they realized. Sometimes, life asks for more energy than we actually have. And slowly, without even noticing it, we begin surviving instead of fully living. We become quieter inside, more tired, more distant from the parts of ourselves that once felt easy to reach. Not because they are gone, but because exhaustion has a way of making everything feel farther away for a while. Even joy, even excitement, even the feeling of being fully present inside your own life. And maybe lately, you have been a little hard on yourself, wondering why you cannot just feel normal again, why simple things take more energy, why your mind sometimes feels full, even when everything is quiet. But maybe this moment is not asking you to try harder. Maybe it is asking for something very different. Less pressure, less rushing, less trying to force yourself back into who you were. Because healing is rarely dramatic. Most of the time, it returns quietly, in small moments you almost miss. The day music suddenly sounds good again. The moment you laugh naturally without forcing it. A conversation where you feel a little more present. An evening that feels just a little lighter. And maybe that is how you find your way back. Not by becoming the old version of yourself overnight, but slowly, gently, one quiet moment at a time. Because the version of you that felt alive is still there, still waiting, still breathing quietly under all the tiredness. And tonight, you do not need to force anything. You do not need to have answers yet. You do not need to suddenly feel like yourself again. Maybe for now, it is enough to simply rest, to breathe a little slower, to let yourself believe, even just a little, that you are not gone. You are simply finding your way back to yourself.